There are so many different fertilizers out there. It's really complicated and difficult to try and figure out which one do I use. I'm growing hanging baskets and I want them to look great. Which fertilizer should I use when there's literally hundreds of different fertilizers out there, and what are they going to do and how they work and how frequently, and so many decisions to have to make. So I'm going to try and help you figure out how some of these fertilizers work, how long they last, and how frequently you need to use them, and what they're going to work the best on. So a lot of gardeners consistently use a water-soluble or a liquid fertilizer. Water-soluble are like the little blue crystals that you mix in water and stir it, and they dissolve, and all of a sudden your fertilizer has permeated that water all the way through. And then when you water your plants, the plants pick up that nutrient through the water. So this Blooming and Rooting from Fertilome is a water-soluble fertilizer. So little blue crystals, 1 tablespoon per gallon. You put that in a gallon of water, stir it all up, and now it has put that nutrient, that nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, that 958-8, right into the water. And then when you water your plants, it picks it up through the root system, but it also will pick it up and absorb it in through the leaves. And so a water-soluble fertilizer becomes very readily available to the plants through the root system as well as through the leaves. So it's okay to get it on the leaves of the plant. It's okay to water the soil with it. The plants will pick it up. But the biggest question is, how long does that really last? In most cases, a water-soluble fertilizer like this will only last a few days. Plants will pick it up and they'll utilize that nutrient very quickly. The next day you water your hanging basket and it leaches a lot of that nutrient out, runs out the bottom with the water that you're watering. So fertilization on Monday, let's say Tuesday, Wednesday, we just water with plain water before we fertilize it again. Some people only fertilize once a week. Some people only fertilize once every 2 weeks. How long is that going to last? When you start watering the plant just with straight water, not only does it dilute the fertilizer even more, but it runs out the bottom. And so after just a couple days, this fertilizer is pretty much gone out of your hanging basket. The plant's picked up everything that it could get, and the rest of it is gone. So you've got to use these a lot more frequently than what you think. So in a hanging basket or a planter situation, probably 2 or even 3 times a week, you're going to want to use a water-soluble or even a liquid fertilizer. Now this is a Seedlinger's Universal Plant Food, and it used to be called Fertilixer, and the Seedlinger's Universal Plant Food is an all-natural, premium, high-quality organic fertilizer. So this is an all-natural fertilizer. Doesn't have the same analysis as the Blooming and Rooting. If you look on the back, it's a little bit harder to see right here, but it has 3% nitrogen, 0.6% phosphorus, and 0.6% potassium. But since it's an all-natural fertilizer, it breaks down a little bit more gradually, a little bit slower, and not as quickly, but is also still very readily available to the plants. So using a liquid, so this one's one you just mix in water, a couple tablespoons per gallon, water the plants with it, again absorbs it up through the root system, in through the leaves, but it doesn't last that long in the soil. So every time you water, you're leaching it out. So whenever you're using a water-soluble or a liquid-based fertilizer, remember that it's only going to last for a few days, and you've got to use it consistently and continually. And depending on the analysis of the fertilizer, it might be good for vegetables, might be great for flowers. You've got to gauge the volume of the nutrient that's in there for the plants that you're using. When it comes to a slow-release fertilizer, there's a lot of different options out there. Garden Coat 6, very different. It's a little small BB looking pellet. This will break down over 4 to 6 months, and so every time you water, a little bit of that fertilizer releases off of that coating of that pellet. And so very different from the water soluble or the liquid fertilizers, where this is only going to last a couple days, maybe a week at the most, and this one's going to last 4 to 6 months. So it's formulated to last a lot longer, more balanced in the nutrients. So you've got a balance of 12% nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and it's going to gradually release that nutrient out to your plants. Tree and shrub food is also formulated for a slower release. It's going to take 3 to 4 months. It's a great way to put one fertilization on your trees and shrubs in, say, April or early May. It'll feed them all summer long, and by the time fall rolls around, we don't need to fertilize again. Just that one application is going to last the whole season, but probably not going to work as well on your hanging baskets or in your vegetable garden. I mean, this is specific for trees and shrubs because of the way the analysis is built and the duration of the fertilizer as well too. But then you've got something like a tomato and vegetable food, and this is all organic, a little bit different analysis. It's a 253, but it has lots of beneficial microbes, microorganisms, mycorrhiza, archaea in there to help break down and decompose and pre-digest that nutrient so the plants can pick it up and utilize it. So this is a wonderful fertilizer, all natural to use in your vegetables, in your fruits, but it will break down gradually over about 4 to 6 weeks and feed those plants. So 2 applications in your garden for the season would be just perfect for an all-natural fertilizer like this that's got that beneficial biology, that beneficial, those beneficial microbes in there to help release that nutrient, make it available to your plants. So it makes it a very unique product. So when it comes to different types of fertilizers, it's essential that you know what those nutrients are that are inside those products. And if it's a water soluble, just remember it's going to last a week or less, maybe even just a few days. If it's a slow release granulated fertilizer, it could last a month, could last 3 or 4 months, could last up to even half a year, depending on which one you use. So it's essential that you know which fertilizer you're using, what your plants' needs are, so they get the nutrient that they need and what they're looking for. And if you do that in the right proportion, then your plants are going to perform for you and give you what you're looking for, whether that's fruits, vegetables, beautiful lawn, or some nice growth on your trees. That's what knowing what fertilizer you're using and how they work is going to help you be much more successful as a gardener.